Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL lately, you've probably heard some buzz about the Green Bay Packers that's been stirring up quite a bit of excitement among fans, analysts, and everyone who follows the league closely. And honestly, it's not just hype for hype's sake. There's real substance behind what's happening right now, and it could very well shape the Packers' trajectory for years to come. We're talking about a move that's not only bold but also strategically significant, the acquisition of a star defensive end that could redefine their defensive identity and, in turn, elevate their entire team to a new level of competitiveness. Let's set the scene first. The Packers, for quite some time now, have been hovering around the playoff picture, consistently making postseason appearances, especially during Jordan Love's 2-year stint as starting quarterback. Now, Love has shown flashes of brilliance, throwing for over 40 yards in 2023 with 32 touchdowns, leading the Packers to a 48-32 wildcard victory over the Cowboys, a game that exemplified the potential this team has when everything clicks. But what's been missing, if we're honest, has been that game-changing, truly dominant presence on the defensive line, especially in terms of pass rush. You see, in the NFL, and history backs this up, having a disruptive pass rusher is often what separates good teams from great ones, Super Bowl champions from just playoff contenders. The Packers have had their share of decent pass rushers over the years, guys like Za'Darius Smith, who in 2020 had 5 sacks, but they've lacked that consistent, game-wrecking force that can tilt the field in the blink of an eye. That's exactly why the recent trade news is so seismic. Green Bay has pulled off a blockbuster move, acquiring Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys, giving up 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark in the process, plus signing Parsons to a 4-year, $188 million contract with a hefty $136 million guaranteed. That's a significant haul, and it signals how much the Packers believe in Parsons' potential to be a transformational player. And believe me, this isn't just about adding another good player. Parsons is a true difference-maker, a player who can change the course of games with his relentless pressure and versatility. Now, to understand the magnitude of this move, you have to look back at some of the historic deals in NFL history. Remember Khalil Mack's trade from the Raiders to the Bears in 2018? He was a young star with 4 seasons under his belt, already with 45 sacks and 84 quarterback hits, yet the Raiders, in a surprising move, let him go for multiple firsts, a 3rd and a 6th-round pick. That move was seen as a statement about the value of a premier pass rusher, and it paid off spectacularly for the Bears. Fast forward to Parsons, and the situation is even more compelling because he's only been in the league since 2021, but he's already accumulated over 5 sacks and 112 quarterback hits in just his 3 seasons. That's elite production, and he's just entering his prime. What makes Parsons so special? Well, he's not just a pass rusher, he's a legitimately disruptive force. Since entering the league, he's recorded 177 pressures and 59 quarterback knockdowns, numbers that are comparable to some of the game's best, like Myles Garrett, who has 171 pressures and the same amount of knockdowns in that span. And Garrett, as you know, is considered one of the top edge rushers in the league. The difference here is that Parsons is still early in his career, just now entering his prime, which makes him a potentially generational talent. The kind of player who can redefine a defense, elevate the entire team, and push the Packers into a different echelon of competition. What's also fascinating is the historical context of how the Packers have approached acquiring star pass rushers. Recall 1993, when the Eagles let Reggie White test the open market after dominating for 8 years with 124 sacks. The Packers swooped in and signed him to a 4-year, $17 million deal, and that move transformed their franchise. White became a legendary figure in Green Bay, helping them win a Super Bowl and establishing a defensive identity that's still revered. Fast forward to today, and the addition of Parsons could have a similar, if not greater, impact. He's not just a good player, he's a game changer, a player capable of leading a defense that's been somewhat underwhelming in terms of pass rush production in recent years. Looking at the current roster, the Packers have some promising pieces, guys like Lucas Van Ness, Devont Wyatt, and Rashan Gary. But none of them have consistently delivered the double-digit sacks year after year the way Parsons has. Since 2020, only Gary has had a double-digit sack season for Green Bay, with 12. 5 that year, but with Parsons now on board, the entire defensive front could see a dramatic upgrade. Parsons demands so much attention that he could open opportunities for his teammates, just like Reggie White did decades ago. Imagine a front four where Parsons and Gary work in tandem, with Wyatt and Van Ness providing rotation and additional pass-rushing threats. It's a nightmare for offenses and a dream for the Packers' defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, who's known for his aggressive, four-man rush schemes. Another point worth highlighting is how this move aligns with the Packers' broader team-building philosophy. They've always valued smart, versatile players who can do multiple things well. Parsons fits perfectly into that mold. His ability to rush from the edge or slide inside as a defensive tackle makes him a matchup nightmare. It also allows the Packers to be more flexible in their defensive calls, dialing up blitzes or dropping into coverage as needed. Plus, with Parsons demanding so much attention, opponents will have to scheme around him, which could free up other players to make more plays. Of course, it's not just about the defense. Green Bay's offense remains a potent unit, especially with Jordan Love at the helm. Love's development over the last 2 seasons has been promising, and if he can build on his 2023 numbers, throwing for over 100 yards and 32 touchdowns, the Packers will have a balanced, dynamic team. The addition of rookies like wide receiver Matthew Golden and a healthy Josh Jacobs, who rushed for over 300 yards and 15 touchdowns last season, gives them even more firepower. So, if the offense can perform at a similar or improved level, and the defense becomes a formidable force with Parsons leading the charge, it's easy to see why many analysts now view the Packers as serious contenders in the NFC. Now, let's talk a little about the bigger picture in the NFC North. The division has been competitive and sometimes unpredictable, with teams like the Lions, Vikings, and Bears all vying for supremacy. But with Parsons now anchoring their pass rush, the Packers could shift the balance of power. The NFC has historically been a quarterback-driven league, but as you know, strong pass rushes often make life miserable for even the best quarterbacks. Look at recent Super Bowl winners. Almost all of them have had dominant pass rushers. The 2018 Patriots, led by Trey Flowers, are the last team without a truly elite front four presence to win it all. And since then, champions have typically had a star edge rusher or interior presence that can collapse the pocket. So, what does this mean for the Packers moving forward? Well, it's clear they're making a statement. They're all in on this window of opportunity. With Jordan Love maturing and now a top-tier pass rusher in Parsons, the team is building a roster that can contend not just for the division, but for the ultimate prize, the Super Bowl. The NFC is stacked, no doubt about it, but if Parsons stays healthy and continues to produce at this high level, the Packers will be a nightmare for offenses and a nightmare for their NFC rivals. And speaking of rivalries, let's not forget that the Packers already proved they could beat the Cowboys last season, with Love throwing for over 40 yards and leading a potent offense. Now, with Parsons on the other side, the NFC North and the entire NFC landscape could see a different kind of challenge emerging. It's no longer just about having a good defense. It's about having a game-wrecker who can change the course of games single-handedly. And that's exactly what Parsons can be for Green Bay. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize how significant this move is for the Packers' long-term outlook. They've shown they're willing to pay a premium for elite talent, and that's a smart strategy. The NFL is increasingly about having that one player who can lift the entire team. The Packers are betting on Parsons being that player. If he lives up to the hype and stays healthy, they've got a real shot at returning to the Super Bowl stage and possibly bringing home that Lombardi Trophy once again. So fans, this is a defining moment for the Green Bay Packers. It signals a new era, one where they're not just trying to be good but aiming to be great. a team with a relentless, disruptive defense led by one of the most gifted pass rushers in the league today. The road ahead will be challenging, no doubt, but with Parsons leading the charge, the Packers are setting themselves up for a memorable season, a season that could turn into a legendary chapter in franchise history. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this blockbuster move? Do you believe Parsons can be the player that finally pushes the Packers over the top? How do you see him fitting into this defense? And what impact do you think he'll have on their chances for a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Green Bay Packers. Remember, this is just the beginning. There's a lot more to come, and I'll be back soon with more updates and analysis. So stay tuned and keep that passion alive, because the Packers are on the rise, and this season might just be one for the history books. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go!